Hey sports fans, welcome back. Thanks for clicking on my face if you're brand new, and if you're not brand new, that means you're a subscriber, and I love you. And my love is conditional. So you buy my love by clicking subscribe. I'm really that simple. It's pretty easy. So this is, I don't know why I did this. It's probably because I feel like I've reviewed every other Nolan thing so far this year. I just went on like a Nolan tear. And then I noticed AMC Plus had Following. Oh, look at that. It's a good chance for me to remind everybody that AMC Plus doesn't like accessibility and that Following doesn't have audio description. It's like a 2-for-1. Oh, and we can talk about Following. So let's dig in. As I mentioned, does not have audio description because AMC Plus is somewhat allergic to it. They can take like a little bit of it. They have audio description on like Tales of the Walking Dead and like 2 other things. And that's it. That's all they got it on. They're like, but we put it on something. It's really disappointing. So, Following, to be fair, also has no known audio description. Like, nobody's ever heard audio description for Following. It's Christopher Nolan's first feature film. So, it's independent, and it's a little over an hour. It's actually really pretty short. And it always felt to me when I first saw it like it was sort of like that proof of concept. Like, because it's so short, it almost felt like it wasn't meant for mass consumption, but rather as something to show people to be like, look at me. Look at me. Look at what I can direct. Look at what I can do with a film. Look at what I can do with a script. Look at what I can put out there for the world to see. And to go around to festivals and get that sort of notice. I don't think Nolan ever really thought he would be as big as he is today with like loyal fan followings. I just said following. That's going to happen a lot. But lo and behold, you know, this kickstarted that career for him. It's also because of everything. It's my least favorite Nolan film. I didn't really have an attachment to it. I didn't see it in theaters. It's my second Nolan film that I watched. I did watch it after Memento and before Insomnia. I had the privilege of working in video rental stores, so it was really accessible to me. I just walked up and grabbed it off the shelf and was like, I'm taking this home for the night. So, yeah, I did get to see Following pretty easy. It just, yeah. And so I've seen this before, without audio description. The thing is that it doesn't work. The film has a lot of shots, where people are talking over it, but he's showing you something else. And you wouldn't necessarily know that. You would just think this film has a substantial amount of dialogue and like 2 people in a room just talking to each other. Basically, it centers around a guy who just loves to follow people. He's just really interested in what they're about. Sort of like a professional stalker, but he doesn't stalk anybody for too long. It's not just women. It's not just stalking women. He just likes to follow people and see sort of where they go. He looks at something and goes, that person's interesting. I'm going to see where they headed. They headed to work? Headed home? School? Shopping? I'm going to follow them. So it's, you know, that's what he does until he finds someone who is sort of interested in this aspect of this individual and seems to be of the same mind. Or are they? Or does this become a game of cat and mouse? Does the follower become the followed? Does the thing twist and turn back around on him in just a little over 60 minutes? You're gonna have to watch and find out. or not, because it doesn't have audio description. It's up to you. For a Nolan completionist, I know it must really hurt to not have audio description. So, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I don't think they're ever going to put audio description. It'll be, I'm a just hashtag describe everything person. So I'm going to try to be eternally optimistic and say at some point we will have audio description on everything. I don't know if that some point is within our lifetimes. So make your own judgment call. If you feel like you need to see all of Nolan's films and you've only seen the ones with audio description and it's bugging the hell out of you that you need to see films without audio description, I will say there is a substantial amount of dialogue. You just are missing what Nolan's doing with it. So, you're missing the shots and everything that they would actually show you. However, there's an argument to be made here. And this is why we have this channel and why I talk and why I speak. We don't talk over dialogue. So, I don't know what the narrator script would look like anyway. So even though they're talking and the film is showing you something else, I don't know that the narrator would necessarily tell you that. So I don't know how much of that you would be missing anyway. I don't know how much of his following you would be missing. I think you would still feel like that was a conversation that was happening and it was just like showing you two people sitting there talking to each other or something like that instead of branching out into the world. So just because the way our audio description is structured, I don't know. I don't really have an answer for that because there is no existing audio description, so I can't really talk about it. But having seen the film, I do remember that about the film is, you know, that's kind of the thing, is it is sort of like an art house film. It's very artistic, and Nolan wanted to obviously put his stamp out there in the world. So he didn't just direct a film that was dialogue heavy and script driven and character driven that just has two people sitting in a room talking and talking and talking and talking. It's not that simple, and it's not that derivative, and it's not that boring of a film. But it is kind of simplistic. It has kind of a nice turnabout, but it's also a turnabout that you can kind of see coming. So he does kind of feed it to you, not necessarily in the way where he plays with the script in Memento, to where you don't necessarily know what's happening, or even The Prestige. There are certain films that really Nolan has made that really just twist you up, and you end up, I think when I did my reviews, and I also did a podcast for The Dark Room about Christopher Nolan, which is why I watched so damn many Christopher Nolan films this year. There were so many Christopher Nolan films where I said the second viewing is really rewarding, possibly even more so than the first, because you get to go through and you get to see sort of like, wait a minute, what? You know, like, what did you just do? And I don't think Following is that. So that's one of the reasons why it's down on the list for me. But being down on a Nolan list is not that low. I would love for AMC Plus to consider having more audio description, like they said they would. See, I had a thing with AMC Plus where I was on a free trial and I complained about their lack of accessibility while navigating through an app. And they apologized and then gave me a free year of AMC Plus. And said that their app development would get better and that they planned on expanding audio description. That didn't actually happen, and they don't really have a plan or an answer when I email them now. It's almost like they've been told from someone else, like, fuck it, we're not adding audio, we're not doing that, we don't like blind people, they're not coming to our service, which is so disappointing because they also have Shudder, and I could not express to them how many blind people would subscribe to Shudder if Shudder went accessible. Like, there's an entire audio description group that's created just for people who love horror movies and need audio description. I mean, Shudder is alone in its genre. So if AMC Plus could really rethink this and go for it. They have a ton of shows that would lean into that genre that they can market with that package, like Interview with the Vampire, the Walking Dead franchise, you know, just throw them all in there. And I think people would go for it. I think they have a massive missed opportunity here, but there's nothing I can do about that. So I can't, with 158 subscribers, threaten AMC Plus with my massive social media following, which is why I always ask people to subscribe, because we got to talk about audio description so we can get it on films and eventually get it to following. You know, it will not be the first choice. This is not going to be in wave 1 of adding audio description. I can already feel that. But it might be in like wave 5 for Nolan fans. You know, it could be. I don't think it's that far off. It's not that obscure, and it does have Christopher Nolan as the director. So maybe, but in the meantime, I'm going based off of the fact that I've seen this before, and sadly it doesn't have audio description. It didn't get any better for me on a repeat viewing. It's just, it is still my least favorite Nolan film, although Tenet is really trying to get down there too. So, but what does least favorite Nolan mean? Because least favorite Nolan is still pretty damn good. So I'm gonna give Following a B-. That's pretty good to have your worst film of your entire career as a B-. Like, what? Yeah, and that's just a testament to how much I like Christopher Nolan. Anyway, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and please let your friends know, if you have any blind or visually impaired friends, to follow my channel so that we can continue to talk about audio description, because I want to be able to advocate for it. But when I talk to people from these companies, I know if I say I have 158 subscribers, they're gonna be like, and like, so yeah, anyway, I'm trying to work my way on up. Thanks for watching. I have a website, MacTheMovieGuy.com. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, or Threads at MacTheMovieGuy. You can go to the audio description project, adp.acb.org. It'll let you know what has audio description and where you can watch it. And you can go to the ADNA.org. That's the ADNA.org. It'll let you know who's describing what film or television series. And that's it for me today. I will review something else for you guys, like I always do, and see you on the other side, because I'm following you. See, it works. I tied it back in, came full circle on that. There we go.